Welcome back to the Jer Brogan Show. Today's episode, we have Brenda Flores here. She's a COO with Groff Landscaping. And, she runs people, she runs systems, and she runs them without excuses. So I've watched her in action. I've seen her in play. And we've been working together for the last 90 days. And it was an absolute pleasure to work with someone that is in line. We were in the same level. We're thinking the same, and it's very odd that I come across an operations director that can that understands where I'm coming from. So I think that that came from where your background is in. You have a good extensive background in construction in larger capacities with bigger crews, and the annual revenue may be a little bit bigger, but just a bigger capacity, I should say. So where all those systems are already in place, but maybe just give us a little bit of your background and
Sure.
and tell us who you are, where you came from, and how you got in, was introduced into the construction industry.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me
Yeah,
on your show. Super
yeah,
excited
you
for
bet.
it. And I echo, it was really great to get to work with you side by side. And we said this so many times throughout our time together, that how aligned we were on so many things, and just the systems that we were thinking very much alike
Yeah,
on what we wanted to bring into Groff. So it was really cool to work with you in that space.
yeah.
So, like Jeremy said, my name is Brenda Flores. I am the COO at Groff Landscapes. I'm also acting DOO, so Director of Operations as well. I got into landscaping with Groff. Before that, I was in residential construction and remodeling, as well as commercial and government contracts. So that gave me a good solid background of the service industry, and like the systems that sometimes are lacking in these bigger companies as we're trying to scale. And every time you try to scale a business, you can't do the same thing that you were doing before. Things you have to pivot, you have to adapt, and so do those systems. So that's kind of where that background comes from, with the structure of the systems and
Mhm.
SOPs put into place for specifically operations and also people management. So that's a little of my background as to how I got to where I am now. And before that, I was in consulting. So I did consulting for businesses that were in the service industry, green space, construction, restaurants, tech startups. So systems were a big thing when it
Yeah.
came to that work as well.
Oh,
Hmm.
cool. Yeah, I noticed that it must have been interesting coming into this organization because it was built in like Rob's understanding on how it should run, and then you come in with, all your experience with all these other businesses, and then you're trying to come in and implement systems and a little bit of pushback. I think when you and Rob, me and Rob spoke about this in our interview, and it was like, especially with the Azuga, we talked about the Azuga, and Rob mentioned, hey, I told you that we needed that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I get that. Like I've been in quite a few different businesses and try to implement something when they have this almost like a click, I guess they call it, or just this bubble that they live in. And if it doesn't agree with their bubble, then it just gets pushed away. And then what happens most of the time is that you get sucked into that culture, and all these ideas and programs and systems kind of get just brushed under the rug, and nothing really happens. What I do think is important is that it was perfect timing for me to come in,
Yeah.
and and you've been with Groff for how long?
It'll be a year next month.
Yeah.
So very close to a year. So
So
not
it's
too long.
yeah, it wasn't that long, but I think it was perfect timing just because that when you have two people that are thinking the same, like we're finishing each other's sentences, like we were bang on systems and processes, and then you have at least like a soldier beside you, and
Sure.
help us just push those systems and processes through and not getting absorbed with that existing culture. So,
Yeah.
and that's what happened, and it was just a great, match, perfect timing, even with Rob and you yourself. It was just really all about timing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that we don't talk about it enough
Mhm.
about people who are in a consulting position or come into a new company that have already experienced putting system into place. Change is difficult across the board for all departments, no matter where the change is happening. So it does take a little bit. It comes with its challenges. And then I have the added challenge that I'm also a woman in this
Yeah.
industry. So that comes with scrutiny as well.
Yeah.
But, I've always been kind of a disruptor when I start in any new company. The last place I was there for almost 7 years, a little over 7 years. But it's like that at the beginning when you have someone coming in that's looking at it from a bigger, higher view, right? We're seeing things bird eye view. We're seeing things that maybe go unnoticed at that point by an owner. That's not any of their fault, right? That just comes naturally. When you're working in the business, it's hard for you to see things outside in a bigger scope. So that's when people like me or consultants that come in, they're able to see things in a different perspective, in a different way. And it's not to criticize or say something was wrong, but it's really like, hey, a mind shift. What if we did this instead to
Mhm.
support the team in this way? And you're absolutely right. There were things that I had brought to the table, and Rob was like, "Oh, well, maybe not right now," and that's absolutely normal. That
Mm.
happens with every company and every owner, that there's some hesitation to make changes or implement new things. But I thought it was really great when you came in and we were just talking about stuff and you already started having these ideas. I was like, I'm on the same
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And I think that hearing multiple people say the same thing echoes to an owner and also helps with that like ease of, okay, if more than one person's telling me this, then there's probably some value here. Like let them explore. And
Yeah.
that comes with some surrender. And I give it to Rob. He was able to do that and say, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great.
I think like in the last 3 months, we were bang on with the hourly, paying the employees, the staff, field staff hourly, like all across the board. I don't think we
Mhm.
disagreed with anything. Project
Yeah.
management systems, we were
Mhm.
just bang on. So there was a lot of changes in the last 3 months, and there was a point like, I mean, we were putting GPS units on the vehicles, and the guys were a little bit nervous about why am I being tracked, and a little
Yeah.
pushback there from trying to get the space cap involved,
Yeah.
and the it was quite a bit. And just as for the field staff to embrace all these changes, I was thinking like we're at this point, like a mutiny might happen and everybody's just gonna leave. But it was executed very well, and I think there's still a lot to go,
Yeah.
like especially out in the field. I think that initially I was intending to get more in the field with the crews, but it was more imperative that I stayed here and make sure we get the foundation, in the shop, and the
Mhm.
space cap
Yeah.
and Emlid was a big undertaking. And so I think if I would have went out to the field and starting to tell them how to do their job, instead of like, I have a different approach to that, but it was a lot. It was
Yeah.
just a lot with that whole transition and the change that happened in the last 3 months. So I'm really happy how this all rolled out. And I would be, I'd love to come back when we're in the busy season
Yeah.
where that would make more use of my time rather than these. We don't have much going on right now, but it was perfect timing to do all the shop stuff. And the guys
Yeah.
got to learn how to do epoxy flooring. They learned how to install the racking, the
Yeah.
painting, the space cap. They learned a lot of skills while I was here. So it's going to be great to see them at least take the skills that I gave them when I was here and use that, in the other projects or maintain the shop or whatever. So is really happy with that. So I do want to speak about, we've both been in situations where we see that people are just not coachable, right? So, and sometimes the right decision needs to be made and to let them go. So, how do you decide when it's time to cut the ties with that person?
That's a tricky one because I don't think there's like one thing that fits the mold, right? Every company is different and what they're looking for in their company. But for us, I think here at Groff, our core values are super important. Like we live and breathe by our core values. And we talk about them with our guys. We have, a core value card. So they know what our core values are. And those are what we look for when we hire someone or when we promote someone. We make sure that our team is continuing to exhibit and live and breathe those core values. The first thing I usually do is I look to see if it's a systems problem. And a lot of times it is a system problem. We have created a situation where there's not clarity on what this person's supposed to do and how they're supposed to deliver the result that we're asking for. And again, like 90% of the time, it is a systems problem. We had someone who we onboarded, this early on this last year for a new position that we developed, and we had a job description. We hired a guy. We came in here, did onboarding and everything, and that person didn't have enough clarity on how to do his job. And we didn't create the clarity fast enough. So this person was being spread all over the place, being pulled over here, pulled over there. Tasks weren't getting completed because there was no direction. Now, yes, that is a systems problem. But apart from the systems problem, there are also characteristics of this person that didn't meet the core values, right? So it's difficult. You have to weigh what's, where we are as far as a company, where we didn't provide. And then also, is this person really going to be part of this company because they don't have those core values? And it takes a little bit of time to know if someone is going to be, be able to exhibit and have those qualities that we're looking for, which is why, usually there's a 90-day, period where we're getting to know the person. So I think to answer your question more like on shortly, it would be, one, we look at the systems. Are there systems in place? If they're not, do we create them? If we create them and the person still is having difficulty, it's okay. Are there other positions in the company that they might be better suited for? Right? Did we, promote someone that wasn't ready? But ultimately, if all of those things aren't aligned, there are systems in place. We did create a position. We created clarity. We created clear goals, and that person still isn't able to perform the job function, and they don't align with our core values. That's when a decision needs to be made. And it's not easy. It's not. We're the bad guys when it comes to that, right? So we have to pull the plug. But the reality is that at the end of the day, it helps our team. Why? Because your teams know when someone's underperforming. Your teams know when someone's not pulling their own weight or isn't doing what they're asking them to do. So even though it might be difficult and people are like, oh man, they fired that guy or that girl, it really comes down to, well, they weren't doing their job anyways. And they know that. But it's because we've gone through that. We've asked ourselves those questions. It's because as leaders, we have to know, did we create the problem, or is the problem that this person just does not meet what we need, then our core values?
And that's, it's problem solving. And you're fantastic at that. I've seen you in action when we were here, when we were building the shop and the guys are frustrated in the shop. And these are leaders, and you go out there and you're just solving whatever issue they have, bang, bang, bang. And very impressive,
Thank you.
and people talk about like women in the construction industry, and it's like, you are a capable person. I don't care what sex you are. You're just a competent, capable person to execute that work. And the guys, I think that was a good reflection of you, because I don't know how many interactions you have like that with these guys for the past year, but not too many, I would imagine, where you would be there directing work out into the shop or in the field. So I think there was probably a level of respect there that, okay, Brenda knows what she's talking about. Like, she knows her stuff. You were figuring out electrical problems. We were figuring out, coordination issues out there, all these problems that we were having. It was just quite remarkable. Just on anybody to even just to go out there and figure that out as a director of operations, just bang those things off instead of, just, turning a blind eye. It's like, that's not my problem. It's your problem, is everything in the business. So that's recognized.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is, there is a level of respect that I have to gain. I think anybody who comes in, anyone who's new, whether they're male or female or whatever, there's a level of respect that you need to earn from the guys in the field, right? It's like the hardest thing to do. But the reality is, like, the way that I do that is and create trust with them is by helping them. When they see that I'm a troubleshooter, when they see I can solve problems, when they come to me with a problem that maybe they think that I don't have a solution for, and I create a solution or help them think of a solution, not only do I help them and I solve it, but it also empowers them because I'm allowing them to say, this is what I think, this is what I would do. And I'm saying, okay, well, what if we think about it this way? That day that you're talking about, it was really just, making sure that they were not utilizing all of the tools necessary at their disposal to be able to complete what we wanted them to complete. I think it's easy for anybody in any position to get complacent and also just have a level of like, oh, well, this is the standard. This is what I usually do. And this is where I'm going to stay because no one's telling me otherwise. Right. So they don't realize that they put a ceiling over themselves without even like purposely doing it. They say, this is as far as I'm going to go. This is how hard I'm going to work. And no one's telling me otherwise. So that's good. That's fine. That's acceptable. And then when we come and challenge them in an appropriate way, in a respectful way, that, hey, you're capable of so much more. What if you thought this way? We're slowly raising that ceiling for them. So we're not just managing people, we're empowering our teams to think in a different way. And that gains respect.
I think that Rob runs this is a textbook of, typically, textbook of a Mark Bradley show. I can tell you that. Like, I've worked with Mark for 10 years plus. And, taking this time, the slow season time, to invest in training and improvements instead of just laying everyone off and waiting until the spring happens. It's like, no, we are, taking this time to, get the shop in order, build the foundation, get the guys trained up on how to be organized out in the field and retooling and teaching them on tooling and GPS to the new equipment that's coming. So that time that we invest into our business during the slow season affects the entire next season on profitability and reducing waste. And it's just really aspiring to see that Rob is in that direction.
Yeah.
He's a lean guy who likes running lean with the shop, and how we have it is remarkable that an annual revenue of 6 million, we're in a 2,000 square foot shop and we're comfortable.
Yeah.
And just not absorbing any waste of materials hanging around, going back to the shop. So
Right.
it's really happy. I'm really happy to see that. And you are, a part of that.
Yeah.
And for you, it must be a little bit kind of a different culture of, there's a lot of the culture or more industry is like hoarding, like, and that's the waste, right? Because when you break down the square footage of your shop or your office or your yard, you need to utilize that space properly. If it's going to sit there for 2 years, it's a waste of space, waste of time, waste of growth. So it's quite great to see that. So for our 3-month working together, what were your thoughts of the biggest impacts that might come out of what we implemented here?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot, right?
Yeah.
So we did a lot. We there were a lot of moving parts, a lot of change in systems. I think the biggest thing that what I think that will create the most change, maybe not right now. Sometimes you don't see the impact and the positive parts of change until later on, right? So we're building off of that, right? For me, Azuga was a big thing because it's setting us up not only for visibility and clarity and accountability for things that have to do with our equipment and our vehicles, but it's setting us up for when we are ready to open a maintenance division. We already know the system. We already know how it works. We already know what the information that it's sending us, what we're doing with it. So it's setting that foundation for that. I would say also the fuel cards that we implemented is important because that goes hand in hand, right? We're talking about waste. We're talking about lean. We're talking about creating a system where people know that they're being held accountable for things.
Yeah.
And when we do that, it creates clarity, again, the keyword clarity and visibility as to what's happening in the field. Are we overspending? Why are we overspending on fuel if the vehicles are parked at the projects all day? And it's not because we have, and I want to be perfectly clear that we didn't do these things because there was a sense of that our guys or our teams weren't doing things right, or that they were lying or anything like that. Because that's the first thing people think of, like, oh, they want to track me because they don't trust me. And that's not it. And that's one of the hardest things to relay to our team, right? But the reality is that we're doing it so that we have clarity and visibility to lay the foundation down to be able to scale to massive amounts, right? Grow our crews, diversify our services, and scale to the goals that we have. So those two things I think were really big. Emlid is huge.
Yes.
The adoption of Emlid and how it's going to create clarity, again, clarity within our teams from design to installation is huge. Some of the things that we identified before you got here was that we had wasted time because they were double, triple checking elevations and measurements and dimensions in the field, and they weren't correct. So sometimes we were starting to build something or starting the work on something, we had to rework it because it was not right. So this tool, Emlid, is going to be so impactful for us because the amount of time wasted in the field in a pre-construction meeting or after we've already started the installation of something that is not correct on the plans is eliminated.
Yeah.
We don't have that problem anymore. And it creates clarity for the designers, right? Designers have the clarity with the system. They know exactly what they're doing. They're building right off of that. And they don't have to get all the calls from operations like, hey, I need you to fix this. What's wrong with it? We need it fixed and updated on the plans. So a lot of that back and forth communication is going to be eliminated because of that. That's huge. I think that everything that we've implemented is going to cause a wonderful impact. It's gonna be huge. But I would say those are the biggest things. Let's not even get started about all the equipment that we have coming soon too.
Yeah.
We're very excited about that. The 5S system here at the shop. This is a new shop. We bought it, we purchased it in October, end of October, right before you got here.
Yeah.
It had nothing. We brought what we had in our yard from containers and started sorting and throwing things out. And then to see the guys also take ownership of inventory in the way that they have and get involved and give their feedback, that's been huge. Like seeing how involved they're getting.
I think
We're empowering them.
Yeah, I think especially with this shop, because when I first got here, it was, concrete floor, a couple racks, and it was just like a shop.
Yeah.
Now it looks like a showroom.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, and I think their mindset now is like, how could I, continuous improvement.
Yeah.
But this is a bit more. It's a little boost. Like, okay, this is really nice.
Yeah.
How can we make it better? And yeah, there was just great buy-in there.
Definitely. And I think like it's like a well-constructed warehouse where we know where everything is. We have, again, clarity on how much we have of everything. If there is a project that we're starting and we have all these things here, we're set up, right? We don't have to worry about missed materials. We have them here. We're also in these trainings on Fridays. What we've been doing is asking for feedback. What do you need that we don't have? And they're telling us. So our team is bringing us the information. This is what we want. We want a flow of information, feedback from them where they feel I can come and tell Brenda, Rob, the team that we need this and we get it, right? We have a discussion about why it's important. So including them in this stuff has been great. And I've seen a lot more interaction and participation in the trainings where they're excited about talking about these things. So I think it's been huge.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the equipment to arrive.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that I won't be here, but maybe it will come back for a month or even just to get that going. But that's going to be a huge impact on the projects versus completion time. And that all ends up to like how many jobs we end up getting in the end of the year, because I don't think getting the work is not the problem, is completing the work by the end of the year, squeezing in those couple of jobs. We're talking about bringing in-house a carpentry crew.
Yeah.
That was my biggest pet peeve. I wanted to get that done. And I see a little bit. We have one of our guys here that is doing a redecking job. So I was happy to see that move forward. The excavation we're going to pull in-house. There's a lot of changes that are
A
coming.
lot.
And just, I know it's just within the 3 months. And then now going forward, I'm really excited to watch you guys thrive.
Yeah.
And for you, where you're at right now to be in, like I don't see why we're not going to double our revenue within 3 years. I can see that no problem now that they have the tools that they needed and the systems and processes, and just making everything automated with the ClickUp solution that we worked on together and came up with that solution because
There's
what was
so
in
many.
place. Yeah,
There's
you
so
know
many
what?
to talk about.
Yeah.
ClickUp is huge. I mean, going from, again, clarity, visibility in operations, project management, from things that tasks so they don't go forgotten. I mean, we're all human. We can't hold everything in our brain, remember every single thing. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
So again, like if we aren't creating the systems to help and support our team members, how can we hold them accountable when they have a misstep or forget something? So ClickUp is going to be amazing. We're so excited for it. We're still in the build out process, but we know that this is going to be a game changer for us.
It's gonna the scheduling. I'm excited with the task basis scheduling. We started the simple Windows Excel Gantt chart. So that is like a base for everyone to kind of wrap their head around what's coming yet to come. Because when we get the ClickUp integration with the task-based schedule, resource loaded, everything being automated, it's just, man, this is going to be a great year.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be looking very closely at you guys, keeping in contact.
Of course.
I want to be updated on, all the evolution of Groff. So
yeah, we're really excited to start seeing the fruits of the changes that we've implemented and how it will impact downstream. I really think that it's going to be huge. And thank you again for your part in that and the assistance in like getting things moving and into the right direction and finalizing things. So, but yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch and we will keep you updated and we'll ping you.
Yes, I've committed to the last this month just to make sure we, capture all of those loose ends to we get everything. So I have videos coming out. I partnered up with Emlid, so introduction to Emlid, to the step-by-step how to operate the equipment. That's all coming out here shortly. So you guys are going to have all of that information to have to teach the other guys how to use the equipment. And then if I need to come back, then so be it, because I'm not shy.
Yeah. And you like it here.
I do like it here. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great environment. And I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. Excited. Excited to keep watching your YouTube channel.
Yeah. And make sure you subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. All right. It was nice chatting.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You too.